Will do. All right, so you want me to start?
Yes, sir. I got my show notes pulled up. I'm ready to go when you are.
All right, welcome everyone to the show that keeps on giving you the things that you don't want at the time you don't want them. This is Regular Time, just a regular show about the regular show. I'm your host, that one guy who's nobody knows his name, and that's okay. And with me is a very special two-time host, Mr. Rob Luther. How are you, Rob Luther?
I am fantastic, and you've got a great name. Stop it.
I don't know why I'm pointing at my computer like I'm pointing at you.
Like this guy.
This guy right here.
Oh, dude, it's good to be back again. Sorry it's taken so long before we could talk about some more regular show stuff, but, you know, life has happened a little bit in between this episode and the last one. But I'm tickled to death to be back, and I've been listening to every episode since, man. Loving what you're doing.
That's awesome. I appreciate it. That's you're one of the 5 listeners we have. So tell me, Mr. Luther, what do you think about the regular show up to this point?
Oh, I really, no joke, I really do enjoy it. There were some episodes I liked a lot more than others, particularly in the first season. The first season, I liked some episodes, but I wasn't exactly hooked until maybe the end of it. And the second season, I thought, just like you've said on the show a few times, you know, where the show is really starting to hit its stride. And the last episode that you released, but I guess as you're recording this will be later. But the one, but I Have a Receipt. That's one of my favorite episodes from season 2. I'm really enjoying it. And you're right. There's a little bit of hints of Beavis and Butthead in the show that I've noticed. A little bit of nods to The Simpsons that I've noticed. A lot of the physical humor is so spot on. And I love the characters. I mean, I have grown to love every single one of them. One of the early Muscle Man episodes where I think Mordecai and Rigby are telling him, hey, you're saying the joke wrong. You know, the My Mom episode.
Yeah.
That made me fall in love with his character. And there's been little hints of that where each character is getting their time in the spotlight. And I'm enjoying that. And I hear it only gets better based on what you've been saying in the show. So I'm here for the long haul, man. This is great stuff.
Yeah, cool. I mean, it has its ups and downs, but so would you say you like season 2 better so far than season 1 or?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Yes.
I know in my opinion, I mean, it's almost an objective thing, but you can just visually see a difference in production quality between season 1 and season 2. But I think that for just throwing stuff at the wall and just like raw creativity, I think season 1, while it was hit or miss, some of the best ideas they had were, or there was a lot of good ideas in season 1, I guess, like the Muscle Man episode. I mean, it was just they got away with so much. And those episodes, it seems like it's like a heads and tails type of thing. Like half of them were great, and then the other half were just kind of almost like filler episodes, you know?
Yeah, but I didn't actually watch one of them, even in the first season, where I was like, oh, I don't like this one. You know, there were some that were just more interesting than others. But one thing that I know I've heard you say a few times is I think the show has created a very unique tone since the very beginning. There's been nothing I've seen like this show before. And I noticed that from the get-go. In the very first episode that we talked about, you know, over a year ago. That's one thing I think this show's had going for it, is it's already had a very unique tone and, of course, very unique characters and feel that I think has only grown over time to be more funny and enjoyable. But
I think that stems from, and I think this is like this for a lot of good shows, maybe not all of them, but like the creators, the voice actors and whatnot, the creators basically were the voice actors. They hired in Roger Craig Smith a lot and a few other people, but like the core creators, they were mainly the voice actors. They basically did a lot of the production, but you can just tell that like it's friends hanging out and making stuff. Mm-hmm. And that they had been doing it since college, you know? And I think basically that show is just them doing their thing just through animation.
And I've heard that a lot. Like a lot of creators, they work with their friends, they work with people they feel comfortable with, and a lot of times as a fan, when I see some of their work, and you realize, oh wow, they were all real life friends, and they knew each other, and it was a very small group of people. It seems like the actual product is so much better, so much more fun.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of came up. I've kind of thought that about shows throughout the years, like, I don't know, like that 70s show when it came out. I thought those people looked like they're having a lot of fun, But when on Turtles Forever, when Pat Fraley came on and he talked about how they would joke around while they were recording lines and whatnot, and they would kind of throw out little challenges to each other to fit this line into your character and whatnot. So I think that's what makes shows good, and I think this is just a prime example of that.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so everybody, the show we are covering, I hope everybody's been well for all three of you. Four, I can count. Rob's here with me.
Yeah,
so
I'm here.
The other four of you that listen, I hope you're all doing well. I'm in a very awkward setup right now, so if I sound out of phase or something, I apologize. Also, I need to apologize ahead of time. The audio quality on this might not be as consistent. Rob's a lot better at using compression and things in his editing and his setup for podcasts to get. Yeah, you are, because to get consistent volume and whatnot. I use compression, but I don't like to use it a whole lot because it distorts things a lot. And just with the setup I have, I don't know, like mine just don't turn out as good as yours. They're different. I can get mine clean, but point being, people, I'm going to do the best I can to clean up the noise and whatnot, but you might hear dogs barking in the background or something. You might hear a fan going downstairs that I can't hear. I'm using the good mic today, Rob, and it's very sensitive. But anyway, the episode we're going over today is Karaoke Video. This is the season finale, and I'll be honest with you, very transparent here, like this mic. Haha. I am not recording this in order. Like, I've still got 3 or 4 episodes to record before I get to the season finale, but I figured if Rob was willing to come on that we would do the season finale. Thought that would be fun. We're not going to go through any of the number one movies, any of that jazz. I don't think that's really much worth time, but I do got the off-topic question. I was thinking about it before we got on here, Rob. I've been working with a lot of synthesizers and whatnot, and music, and a lot of just abstract sounds, and I've gotten away from the guitar, but I showed you that new Stratocaster I got, and I'm getting new pickups put in it, and it's gone and everything, and been getting back into the guitar and looking at mods and stuff like that. But anyway, that piqued my interest. I've been listening to different podcasts, and Corey Wong, he's a pretty popular player from Minnesota now. He's got a lot of endorsements and whatnot. He's a popular guy. He's got a podcast called Wong Notes, and he has a lot of like the best guitarists and the best bass players, like the world's best, the professionals, and it got me to thinking, Rob, and I haven't asked Rob this. I mean, this is just like right now. What is your favorite, like if you had to say objectively, just all around, I mean, not objectively, but just like subjectively, maybe not even your favorite, or it can be your favorite, whatever, best guitar solo.
Oh.
Any genre. Maybe let's limit it to rock or metal or something, no jazz.
Oh, man, that's a hard one. Oh, my goodness. But there is one that instantly comes to mind. And of course,
that's the one we're looking for right there.
Of course, I'm a big 80s metal fan, and I love Iron Maiden. That's probably my all-time favorite 80s metal band, or just metal band of any decade. But
yeah,
I think of the album Somewhere in Time, and there's a song on there called Stranger in a Strange Land. And Adrian Smith and Dave Murray, they were the lead guitarists then, and they're very, very different styles. But Adrian Smith's solo on Stranger in a Strange Land from the Somewhere in Time album is incredible. It starts off slow and melodic, but it builds in this quick crescendo of just memorable licks. I mean, I can still hear the solo in my mind right now. And what was great about the band in the first place is, of course, they had harmonizing guitars, but it wasn't just each lead that the guitarist would take, or either one of them would take, was interchangeable. Like they were very similar. They're very different, where Dave Murray has kind of a bluesy, kind of improvised style.
Yep.
Adrian Smith, on the other hand, is very calculated and very kind of focused on what he wants to do and practice it over and over and over again, his solos. And both work. I mean, and you can easily identify the two as you hear them play. But anyways, long story short, definitely Stranger in a Strange Land, Adrian Smith.
Awesome. I think you actually showed me that one when we worked together, and I knew you'd say Iron Maiden, and I actually suspected it would be that song that you showed me at school because you said, "How's he do that?" And at the time, I was like, "Hammer-ons? I don't know." But that's funny because like, I guess that's what I was thinking of, memorable solos, because like not all, but a lot of the memorable solos. I mean, you got like your Eddie Van Halen's on "Beat It" and whatnot, but like the ones that people sing along to. They're not too sample or whatever. You've got you got Eagles, Hotel California. That's two guitarists right there. And they're not all that similar. I mean, really. Joe Walsh and Don Felder were two different animals,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Iron Maiden, Def Leppard was a lot like that. But here's what I present to you. I got to thinking about this in the car the other day because Corey Wong was interviewing Larry Carlton. And you may not know who Larry Carlton is. But for the longest time, I was familiar with Larry Carlton because of a few of his jazz blues and his stints with Miles Davis. But I really went through this phase in my life where I listened to Steely Dan a lot. And there was a lot of the tracks, they're very quirky, and I loved a lot of them. But there was one in particular that completely stood out to me, and it's called Kid Charlemagne. And Larry Carlton takes two solos on that song. And the first solo, well, I mean, they're both awesome, but like that first solo, I've thought for a decade, before hearing this podcast, for everything, I thought this guy he's the reason I bought a semi-hollow body so many years back. I mean, way back when I was in college, I was like, this is the guy. That solo is all around. I mean, he doesn't do there's no awesome technical sweep picking or super legato or anything like. He just takes straight pentatonic scales, some jazz techniques theories. He throws in a few diminished triads. I mean, this guy doesn't miss. Every single note is in the. It's the most all around. I mean, everything. It's got everything. There's usually a good solo's got. It's got either it's very melodic or it's got. Or like in Eddie Van Halen's case, there's all kinds of flashy things going on. Or, Paul Gilbert, he's shredding it like a mother. But this guy just takes like an approach where he's like, I'm not going to rely on super hard techniques, which there are some kind of tricky parts in that song. But like he says, I'm going to rely on the music, and he puts it up there. And he just, from the way he talks, he just went in there. I mean, he's a studio musician. He just goes in and he's like, I just went in there and did it. I didn't practice it beforehand, just went in and did it. And it's like the most memorable solo I've ever heard. Like it's complex a harmony as there is in there at some point. And like he's going intervals all over the place, but it's so like singable. And I mean, the song's about, a drug dealer, but the song, I mean, the solo, the irony in it is the solo is like so victorious and, and all this. And the song is like about them hitting the top and then falling down and then the cops getting after them and, raiding their place and everything.
Wow.
But like,
so you said there were two solos on this song?
Yeah. Yeah. The first one's like the real one. Now, the first one, here's the cool thing. At the main end, he does fret tapping 5 years before Eddie Van Halen hit the scene, which he wasn't the first one to do that, but like, I mean, that was kind of unheard of in popular rock music at the times. And it wasn't like, it was just like one tap. Like he used his right hand to hammer on down the neck to make a big skip and interval. But
oh, I'm listening to it right now. 219 of the song, right around that area?
Yeah.
Oh, this is smooth.
Yeah, he hits a key change and like he uses a diminished triad to get, and it's just.
Oh, I see what you're saying. It is kind of triumphant, kind of upbeat. It's got a great upbeat tone to it.
Yeah.
Smooth too. And he just made it up on the spot.
Yeah.
Just did it.
And I mean, when he showed up for his gigs though, like, I think Rick Beato, he's a pretty popular guy on YouTube, I guess. He's like, that guy didn't miss. When he went in the studio, he just did not miss. He went in and he was like a sharpshooter,
Wow.
Yeah. Oof. So.
That is raw talent right there. That sounded great. And that song gave that solo a lot of time. That was great.
Yeah, and he gets two of them. And here's the thing. They asked him to go on tour, and he's like, I asked my friends, he said, should I play it the way I play now because I haven't played the solo in 35 years, or should I learn it note for note? And they're like, Larry, you have to play that note for note. Like that's the, that is, but yeah, anyway, he's Mr. 335 right there. Anyway, that's what I got for the tangents for the day.
I love it. Love it. A little music talk. Very cool.
Let's open up my notes here. I actually took notes. Normally I don't take notes, but I took notes today to try to be professional. So to get it out of the way, the head-to-head episode of Adventure Time, I've been doing that, Rob. It hasn't come up from what I've put out yet, but normally I think at least, for a while I've been comparing. I go to the night that the regular show streams, or not streams, but aired. And then I look at the Adventure Time episode that came out. And for a while in season 2, there was no new season of Adventure Time. So there wasn't much to compare to, but I would do like the night that it was on or whatever. But there's a new episode of Adventure Time that comes out, new season premiere, apparently. Maybe. I don't know. There's a few week gap that I haven't looked at. But the head-to-head Adventure Time episode is called Hitman. And I know this episode so well because this, up to this point in Adventure Time, is one of the best Ice King episodes. I'm not saying it's the best, but it's definitely in the top 3. I don't know if the whole thing with the Lich has happened yet. I can't quite recall. But like up to this point, this episode, I'll be honest with you, when I put these head to head, this is a good episode of the regular show. The episode Hitman might edge it off in Adventure Time, though. This is it's great. The whole thing is Ice King gets mad at Finn and Jake, and he gets so mad that he could just hit him, but he can't reach him because he's in his little, they ground him. That's what it is. They say he's grounded. And he's like, you can't do that. I haven't done anything. And he's up in his little ice palace, and he's like, they make me so mad I could just hit them. And he's like, but I can't touch him. Maybe I could hire somebody to hit him for me. So he hires a hitman named Scorcher, and the Scorcher's like the Human Torch, and he's going trying to kill him. And Ice King, like he realizes after a few one-sided conversations with Scorcher, because Scorcher doesn't talk, that that Scorcher wants to kill him, and he's like, no, I just want you to hit him. So he's like flying, and like he ends up freezing Scorcher, and he's like, peace out, and he freezes him, and he's flying towards Finn and Jake, and while he's flying, he's like, butt, friggin' butt, and he's just screaming at himself, Anyway, it's just back and forth like that the whole time, and it's just, he tries to hire a hitman to hit the hitman, and it's a good episode. I would highly recommend the listeners go watch that if you're into Adventure Time as well. But
you had me at Ice King though. I mean, speaking of which, how's Simon doing? I miss him.
Simon, the intern, the Spice King. That's what they call him.
Of course. How's he doing? Of course, definitely not to be confused with the Ice King.
He's, I don't know. I haven't heard from him in a little while.
Well, I miss those guys. They're the best. Honestly, I know they could be a little misunderstood. I call them the improvers. Any podcast with them on it, it's instantly better.
Well, they had a few sponsors lined up, and
yeah.
I don't think those worked out because they made some commercials, and I don't know. I just don't know. But I went in the other day, and they must have had something going on. I don't know. All I saw was there was a synthesizer. It looked like somebody ordered off of Wish.com, like some, the power? Like
of course.
The power, like the synthesizer from regular. I was like, this is like the power. And somebody had taken a hammer and just smashed the thing. But the crazy thing was it was so shoddy looking. It looked like somebody had ordered that thing off Wish.com and stuck like a lightning bolt sticker on the side of it. It looked like somebody maybe spilled some coffee. I don't know what shape it was in, but like before they got it, but it looked like somebody did some real, I don't know.
Is Ben Tramer going to be able to use it? I mean, if he's
not in that shape, I don't think so. I mean, I don't even, listen, that Tramer guy, I don't even know if the dude's real. Okay? I mean, I've asked a few times, and I don't know.
We never do see him or, Simon's girlfriend in the same room for some reason, but...
I didn't even know Simon had a girlfriend. Now, I will tell you this one thing that happened one time. He was talking to me in mid-sentence. He just started foaming at the mouth, and his eyes rolled in the back of his head. And he was like speaking to somebody. He kept going, Armamoto. And I'm like, Simon, what are you doing?
That's right. Yeah.
So eventually I just slapped him and he came to and he's like, oh, I was just talking to my girlfriend. And so I kind of got worried, but I just kind of let him go. I mean,
yeah. Sometimes you just kind of have to learn to give him some space and just let the guy dream,
I reckon that Ben Tramer, though,
I hear he's great.
I don't ever see him, but they swear up and down he's real.
Yeah, well, he's probably just modest. He doesn't like to kind of, be in the spotlight.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
I keep using the term dreamboat, but whatever.
I hear he's quite,
I heard he's the ladies, man. I don't know. What I hear from what I've been told, and I think I mentioned this before to the listeners, but what I've been told is that he's like a Buckethead type figure. He stands up on stage with a mask, but instead of having a guitar, he has a synth, and he takes the nunchucks and does them like Bucketheads,
I can see that. Yep, totally.
Anyway, I don't know where those guys are at. I'll try to get a hold of them after we get off here. But
please tell them I miss them. They're good guys.
I'll tell you one thing: the studio was in a ruckus, though. That keyboard wasn't the only thing on the floor. Everything was distraught. I mean, it was like somebody went through there, and I'm gonna have to get on their hind ends because they're.
Well, that could be
it's a wonder they didn't break
process.
something. Everything was just strewn out, and stuff was knocked over. And
oh boy, well, I hope
there was a crushed watermelon in there. It's just laying in there. I don't know what that's about, but
I'm sure that's a story. Yeah,
I'm sure. Anyway, so this episode is the season finale of season 2. It's called Karaoke Video. The synopsis, very simple on the wiki. Mordecai and Rigby must find and destroy an offensive video at a karaoke bar. Sorry. That doesn't really do the episode justice, but so let's delve into it. Premiere date, August 1st, 2011. November 20th, 2011 in the UK. US viewers, 2.26 million. That's maybe the higher side of average for this show. Directed by Mike Roth, written and storyboarded by Sean Seals. He's like the music guy. He did the Party Tonight music and all that. And Dennis Messner. And as far as I can tell, Dennis Messner, this is the only episode that he storyboards for the entire series. I'm not sure. So, I don't know. Maybe there'll be a different feel towards this episode. Can't remember who did More Smarter, but whoever that was that did that, they had a very Simpson-esque, that's a word I use, but a very Simpson-esque style of writing. And this episode has a lot of, I don't know if you picked up on it, but there was a lot of Simpsons type stuff in here.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. Yep, I think I even wrote a few down.
The voices, J.G. Quintel's Mordecai, William Salyers is Rigby, Pops Benson Muscle Man is Sam Marin, Skips is Mark Hamill, and character of Karaoke is Richard McGonigal, and he's a returning voice actor. I think he was in the Uncharted series. I can't remember which other episode he was on, but he doesn't return nearly as much as Roger Craig Smith, but he's been on at least one other time. So, let's see. Oh, there's the dogs right on cue. All right. Plot. Oh wait, we don't need the plot. I can just skip past that. Actually, no. Let's go ahead and dive into it. So, do you want to take first, or do you want me to take first?
Sure, I can go first if you want me to. No problem.
Okay.
Okay. So, I love the way this opens up. There's no dialogue whatsoever. We are getting a montage, which this show does such a great job with montages. So Mordecai and Rigby, they're getting ready for their karaoke debut at Karaoke's nightclub. And I'm assuming Karaoke is he's the ponytail guy, the manager, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, I love his character. I can't wait to talk about him. So with determined looks on their faces, they thumb through the song index in order to find the perfect song to rock the house. And, so they find the song. I love the bouncer at the very beginning with his huge arms and his skinny legs. Carl, yes, kind of lets him in, They tell the ponytail manager, who we know is now Karaoke, that they've chosen song 351. And still in the montage with no dialogue, Mordecai and Rigby are indeed rocking the house, so much so that they crowd surf until the montage and their epic night ends. Once again, we don't know what song they sang or any of the antics beforehand, but I love that they're crowd surfing. And at first, I thought this was like a dream sequence, that no, there's no way these guys are this cool. But apparently, this is reality, sort of. And so they wake up the next day, And I love this part where Mordecai's actually sleeping in a bed. Rigby, for some reason, is on a trampoline buried in dirty clothes. Which kind of thing, man, whose clothes are they anyway? Because they don't wear clothes.
Those are yeah. Those are pretty much, I think, his clothes. That's where that's his, you find out later on. There's an episode later on where he gets a bed. And,
wow.
Yeah, he's got to go to the trash heap to get his bed back.
I love it, though, So they decide, they're going to check out their karaoke tape from the night before. And I love that once again, you mentioned this in one of the episodes I heard recently, where they're both kind of repeating this one line, or usually it's Mordecai that leads the chant, and it's a way too long of a line, but they're trying to make it sound cool. So they both say along the line, oh yeah, put it in the fridge. Or no, Rigby's like, oh yeah, I put it in the fridge. Mordecai's like, oh yeah. And then they both go, to keep the tape as cool as we were last night. Oh! And when they open the fridge, I love that they literally just got the tape and one onion in the fridge. That's in their fridge. And did you notice their laugh as they open the fridge? They're both just like,
yeah, they think it's the most hilarious thing ever. Can you still hear me, by the way?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, good. So,
is that a nod to Beavis and Butthead, their laugh?
I would suspect so.
Okay, I thought so.
I'm guessing.
Well, it just seems there's a couple things that I'm noticing in Beavis and Butthead, in this show, and I also noticed it fresh off of watching The King of the Hill. Is there's usually one or two pictures in the background, and it's always just like the static, funny-looking picture of either one of the characters or something. I love that. Like, you don't get a bunch of background pictures, but you'll get one or two that your eyes immediately kind of gravitate toward. And it's usually something random and funny looking at the same time. And this show does a lot of that, and it's usually Pops.
Yeah. And he's always like that, what's going on, look? He's got he's kind of shrugging or something.
I love that. So I always am on the lookout because it's always changing in the series, which is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Mordecai and Rigby, they watch their video in the living room. Of course, we see a picture of Pops looking thoughtful in the distance. And the video is a Twisted Sister karaoke cover. And Mordecai and Rigby are stumbling onto the stage. And with that, I'll hand it over to you.
Okay, so I'm glad that you said they set it up like a dream sequence and it never really happened. This is the first, and I'm surprised I have it so early in the notes. Oh, by the way, people, the episode didn't open with the birds chirping. That must mean something important is going to happen. Anyway, the intro music was really good. But it's not like in your head, like you said, it's not the Twisted Sister music. It's like, something that Sean Seals probably threw together. But anyway, that first scene is reminiscent of Homer Simpson's impression of himself when he's drunk versus what actually happens when he's drunk. I mean, I don't know if you remember the Simpsons episode from like season 3 or something where he's... They're throwing a party at their house, the Simpsons are, and Homer thinks from the night before, like his recollection of it is like, so I told myself that I must slip out of this jacket and into a dry martini, and everybody, oh. When in reality, he's like got a lampshade on his head and he's passed out. And Reverend Lovejoy's like, maybe it was Dr. Hibbert, but they're like, make sure you roll him onto his stomach if you want him to live, But that's how they see themselves, though, and I think that's like kind of a Simpsons type trope, Oh,
I can totally see that. Yep, like everything went fine last night. We rocked it.
Yeah, they put in the tape, so and I love the way that, like you said, the way they say to keep the tape as cool as we were last night, But and okay, so when they're singing this, the first thing that you notice is they're singing. They're not even pitchy; they're just off key, but. The great thing is the sound department's taking this and put everything like exactly one beat behind the music or one beat ahead of the music, one or the other. I can't remember, but it's like the timing's not in sync at all. But it's like very, very organized though. You can tell that like they took it and like they digitally shifted it or something. So, but, there's a call and response like, we're not going to take it. We're not going to take it. And a guy in the audience says, what are you not going to take? Because any more garbage for our boss Benson, he's a loser. Yeah, and this know-it-all skips.
Yeah, sorry, man. I was saying first. I love that the crowd, Like, who's going to ask that question?
That's another Simpsons thing, though, dude. That is absolutely another Simpsons thing, you know?
I can see that, yep. Yeah, boo, McBain, you really stink.
McBain.
Remember when he does a stand-up and he throws a grenade?
What is the one? A reptile dysfunction? That one always got me. I thought that was, anyway, yeah, so I think Rigby's like, yeah, and there's know-it-all skips, and then maybe Mordecai's like, if you're so smart, then why are you stuck being a teacher, a groundskeeper? Sorry.
That was a Freudian slip right there.
Yeah. Why are you stuck being a groundskeeper? And
I'm
then,
just saying.
And then one of them says, yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, that's it. And one of them says, you're not as interesting as you think, Pops. And like, I got written down here, these are all just pathetic attempts at insults. You know, like they're just like the worst insults ever, but they're like super confident in them, you know. And you know they've been drinking a bunch of sodas or something, so they're like intoxicated or eating wings or some junk. And then here's one. Rigby says, go chewing your own gumballs, or go chewing your own gumballs, Benson. Like, and that's actually which kind of sounds dirty, but like at the same time, I'm pretty sure that happens in a precursor to the regular show called like 2 a.m. in the PM or something. And that's an episode J.G. Quintel did about the character that would become Mordecai and like the character model that would become Benson are working at a convenience store. And I'm thinking maybe they go on like an acid trip or something. But Benson, the guy that's going to be Benson, the character model, he takes a gumball out of like his slot and starts chewing on it because he gets bored or something. So I think that's a reference back.
But I also love that, you know, they're fast forwarding because they're starting to panic now, right? Oh my gosh, what else is on here? And as soon as they click play, that's when that line comes out.
And, one thing, like this whole thing is so Homer Simpson. Like Mordecai, he says like to Pops, like impersonating Pops, he goes, oh, I'm so old timey. I don't know what anything is, you know? Yeah, that's exactly how Homer would say it. Because you remember that episode, look at me. I'm making people happy. You know, I'm the magical man from Happy Land in a gumdrop house in Lollipop Lane. You know, all that.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
By the way, I was being sarcastic, you know. Yeah, but that's like exactly the same inflection of voice almost. Is that's an oxymoron, exactly almost, but whatever. But yeah, they start fast forwarding and because they're panicking, you know, and Karaoke comes up and he says, but long story short, he's like, I'm going to show this tape every night in the club. And you know, they're like, oh, no problem. Yeah. But then Benson comes in, or they're like, dude, I don't want anybody to see it, you know? And then Benson walks in and he says, see what? And Rigby says, see this, bam. And he crushes the tape and Muscle Man's with him. And he's like, I've seen that before. You're not the only one scared of technology.
I love that line. That was a great line.
It's a pretty good line, but like, here's the thing. We see that happen at least one other time in season 2, maybe twice. I know in Brain Eraser, I think they crushed the tape. And then there's an episode called Do Me a Solid where Rigby crushes the tape. So it's like, I think that's kind of a callback to earlier in the season. Yeah, I've seen that before, you know?
Oh, nice.
But yeah, go ahead, take it.
So, you know, Benson, he sees the VHS cover of the tape that Rigby destroyed, and he gets the idea of taking the entire crew to Karaoke's, which I love this side of Benson where he's trying to, you know, be a little laid back. He's like, you know what? Why not? Why not? You know, I've pushed you guys hard enough for a long time. Let's go ahead and have some fun. And Pops, he's like, oh, I love karaoke. I can't do Pops like you can. But Mordecai and Rigby, they realize that they got to find that master tape before the gang sees it because they're like, oh, no. So Mordecai goes, you know, if that fat guy says no, we'll just have to take it from him. And he says that roll, tough.
Yeah.
And then there's a quick cut where they're both thrown out by the skip leg day bouncer Carl. so there goes that idea.
Here's exactly what he does too. Like when he throws them out, Karaoke says, I said no. Yeah. So it's like if he says no, we'll just take it from him. I said no.
Oh, that's even funnier.
That's almost like that might be Simpson-esque, but that's almost like King of the Hill type.
Oh, I could totally see that.
You know.
And so the manager, you know, of course, Mordecai and Rigby are banned from the club. So now it's like, well, how are they going to get the master tape now? And Benson has made it up in his mind. He is not going to budge on this. They're going to karaoke night. So Mordecai and Rigby, they're trying to talk him out of it. And Benson's like, nope, he's preoccupied. He's doing his thing. He's working. And he goes, look, I'm only paying for the songs, not the food and the drinks. The Muscle Man, who, doesn't have many lines, but I think the ones he has in this episode are gold. He goes, oh, what? At least I've got my gravy pouch. That was horrible. I'm going to say the impressions to you, man.
I don't do impressions. But he pulls
right.
That's nasty, too. Like, he pulls it up and it's...
Yeah, like, was it the other guy named Carl from the Mover? Or I forget. He's like, oh, Carl, you're always joking around. Or I don't know. It was something like that in the Muscle Man episode.
Oh, the guy from the... Oh, yeah, the guy moving... The guy that Tiny Lister voiced. Zeus and Debo off of Friday.
Oh, no way. I didn't know that.
Yeah. He voices him.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's funny.
I mean, he passed away, but like he had 2 or 3 roles, I think, in regular show.
Oh, so, wow. I didn't know he passed away either. Wow.
Yeah.
Man, a lot of big celebrities that were in this show.
Yeah, like they have Robert Englund on later on, and Tim Curry's been on, and I'm pretty sure what's his name, James Hong. Well, you didn't watch Big Trouble in China, but the legendary Asian actor, he's I believe he's on here. But anyway, oh gosh. Oh, the gravy pouch. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, the gravy pouch. Yeah, I got my notes. It said, good thing Muscle Man has a gravy pouch. But Mordecai and Rigby, they come up with this nice little back and forth. And I don't have it word for word, but like, you may, but like they say, Mordecai's like, what about bowling or pool? Rack them up. And then he says, the pool hall is always fun. And then Rigby says something like, and while we're on the topic of halls, why don't we go to the best hall? And Mordecai says, dancing. And Rigby goes, bingo.
Bingo.
Yeah, Mordecai's like, bingo. And he goes, Rigby says, no. I was just saying bingo to agree with you. He goes, bingo's for losers. So it's just back and forth constantly. And eventually that gets Benson so ticked off that he's like, fine, karaoke night is now mandatory. It is now mandatory to have fun at karaoke night, So it's like, you must have fun. So
he's like, if you don't come, you're fired. So deal with it. And he storms out.
All right. Yeah, that's coincidentally, that's in a completely other part of the house. Not coincidentally, I'm sorry. Unironically. I'll tell you what, you take it from here, and I'm going to mute my mic.
Oh, it's so cute. Little cameo. So, Benson, he runs off, and later that night, the crew is waiting patiently at their table. Well, the rest of the crew, except for maybe Muscle Man and Benson, they're not so patient with this scene. And Benson's furious that Mordecai and Rigby haven't shown up yet. But we see that they're crawling through the vents, kind of like Solid Snake style. So meanwhile, the karaoke, he decides, since it's a slow night, he's going to play Mordecai and Rigby's promo tape. So this is not good. So Carrie says, now get me ready like we talked about. You know I have stage fright. And Carl literally slaps the sense out of poor karaoke. And Carrie's like, woo! He runs out on the stage. He's all fired up now.
That part had me rolling, dude.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
That's like how powerlifters do. Tasting smelling salts, and they're like, smack the crap out of me.
Yeah, hit me, punch me in the face. So he runs out on stage. He's all revved up and everything, and he's trying to rev up the crowd as well. And he's like, surely you guys can't be worse than these guys. And he cuts on the tape, and Mordecai and Rigby, they're singing. And, of course, the crew's cracking up, and Benson's like, oh, so that's why they didn't want to come tonight. They must have been super embarrassed by their singing. And then finally we get to the part where Mordecai starts dissing Benson. He goes, yeah, we're not going to take any more garbage from our boss, Benson. What a lose. And then the tape cuts off. And Benson's like, wait, what? So Carrie, he tries to cover for the master tape mix, getting messed up. And he tries to get the party rolling. He's like, oh, okay, guys, sorry about the tape. How about we get somebody singing? And the first song goes to Pops and his beautiful rendition of Footloose. Now, this was great. I loved that Pops sang this song for pretty much the second half of the episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to get too far ahead, so I'll turn it right back over to you if you want there, my friend.
Yeah. Technical difficulties. Pops goes up and he starts to sing. I got a lot of notes on this, but I just want to say I'm about to say that his singing's very pitchy, And that's not a criticism. Like, it actually makes this scene kind of more awesome.
And hilarious, yep.
Yes, but let me just say, the range that somebody can do, like Sam Marin singing as Pops, it's actually very impressive that he can even get that close, because your throat gets squelched off a lot when
I believe it.
I mean, your range goes down a lot, and it is, I mean, you're talking maybe not an octave. I mean, like, you don't have many notes and you don't have a whole lot of control over them when you're singing. At least that's what I've been told.
When he's singing his high notes, it's so funny. Oh my gosh. Like, you can clearly tell, like, he's struggling to hit that note, and it's just like, ah!
Yeah.
But it makes the scene so much funnier.
And, honestly, I don't know if they, like, tuned that or not.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. Like, it makes me wonder, like, I'm thinking they probably tuned it, but, like, they left some notes off. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I can see that.
But, so Skips, I guess, couldn't do a Spanish guitar song like he wanted, but, like, so they start Pops the Song of the Night. It's Footloose. And, side note, that's at least the second Kenny Loggins song of this season on the First Day episode, which was, I think, originally supposed to be the pilot episode, but, like, they do the song I'm All Right.
Oh, so, good one.
They must be fans over there. The only song that one that I'm really surprised that they didn't get, as far as I know, on the show is the Danger Zone song. I would have expected them to do a Top Gun type of, parody or something. I don't think they ever did that, though. But anyway, this one's great. So it says, I said, even with Pop's pitchy but awesome singing, the power of the song behind the scene is phenomenal. It's like... It's not like a montage. It's like a music video, or like a story in a music video, but like it almost fits it perfectly. So
I agree.
It starts off with Mordecai is kind of tussling with Carl and getting the crap beat out of him, and they're just trying to get the tape, kind of like they were doing in Really Real Wrestling. They were trying to distract him so that the other one could get the belt or whatever, but they're just trying to keep the tape away from Karaoke's and Carl. Carl's beating the crap out of Mordecai, and while Pops is singing. And then for some reason, people just start beating the crap out of each other. Like, guys are hitting each other, breaking chairs over each other. It's almost like a bar fight. And let's see. So, yeah, it says people start beating the crap out of each other for no reason. And while this is happening, Carrie and Carl, the bouncer, are trying to grab the tape. Mordecai and Rigby. They eventually break out into the room. Skips gets a hold of Carl, and he socks him in the kisser. So he just decks Carl. So that's what you get, Carl. You don't mess with Skips. Muscle Man pulls a Hulk Hogan and rips off his shirt, and he takes a shot of gravy from his pouch, and he tackles another guy, just like, I don't even know if the guy was like, a quote, a bad dude. He just tackles the guy, and there's this character in the background, just like an extra, and he kind of looks like Mr. Wynn off of Hey Arnold, but he also kind of looks like a cat because he has like really long whiskers, so I don't know what's going on there. But Pops, here's the great part. Pops ends up punching a guy that gets up on stage.
I wrote that down. I was like, Pops even punched a guy.
But here's the thing. I'm thinking it's out of excitement of the song, because he's oblivious that people are fighting. And it also happens right as like there's a crescendo or a buildup right into the chorus. Like, where there's like a pause right before it says Footloose,
Yeah,
It pauses and he socks the guy. It's just like, I wonder if he just gets that, when he gets that excited, he just, in his free time.
Can't control it. No. Yeah.
You find out later that Pops, we've already found out he's a high level wrestler, but like there's an episode where he does bare knuckle boxing and he's got like the mustache and everything.
Oh, I got to watch that one.
It's just like a little 10-second thing, but yeah. So yeah, he seems oblivious that the fight's happening. It happens right when the build up to the chorus happens. Muscle Man's going berserk, so it cuts back to him. You get a random shot of someone bouncing on their toes as they dance. It's probably Pops, but it's so music video like. Like we see like this tape spinning, and Mordecai and Rigby are on one end of the tape, and they're bouncing it out with Carl and Carrie. And then like it cuts to like these little toes tapping on the floor, and it's like a close up, and it's
right,
probably Pops, But.
And it looks like the background is the same background that's the title screen.
Yeah, that plays, that happens several times in this series. Like they actually, I don't guess this is too big of a spoiler. They incorporate that into like they acknowledge it as like, well, really they break the fourth wall as like acknowledging that as part of that's like the universe. Like that's like the blank canvas of the universe for this show. So that happens a lot, especially in like music type scenes. But yeah. So the tape that they're all chasing eventually gets to Benson, and Carrie just comes up to him, and this is just like so like WWF. Like Carrie just punches him in the face, and he's like, "Give me that tape." And Benson's like, "Fine, you want it? Fine, take it." And he smacks Carrie over the face, and it shatters it. So there's 2 tapes that have been broken.
Yeah.
This episode. So you go ahead, end it. I mean, you got anything else about that whole music scene? I mean, it was.
Oh, you nailed it, man. I love when Muscle Man just, chugs his gravy pouch and he jumps right into the fray. That was great. And then Pop's punching the guy was one of the funniest things to me. And now that you explain, like, he was just into the music, that makes even more sense. It makes it funnier to me.
Yeah. Those are the things about this show, though, that like, that's really. There's a lot of like, I love the nostalgic like 80s, 90s references, the Sega Master System, all that. But like those little moments where it's like, you got to do a double take and be like, wait.
Did he just
wait a second. Did he just do that? Because, like just out of excitement or what? There was nobody trying to fight, things like that I find in movies. It's just like, it doesn't make any sense, but it's still hilarious.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And usually it's so quick and so subtle or so sudden that you just, like, wait, did that just happen? But yeah, so really, there's not much else after this. So it kind of ends pretty abruptly. There's the police and the ambulance, they show up, and the guys are making their way outside of the club. And Mordecai and Rigby apologize for ruining their night. And of course, Benson, being Benson, he vows he's going to get to the bottom of this whole thing. He goes, "You ruined karaoke night!" And he spins off in the golf cart with the guys. And that's when Mordecai just kind of stands there, dejected, and goes, "Yeah, I know. That's kind of why I wanted to apologize to you. Man, karaoke sucks." And that's the way the episode ends.
Yeah. I mean, who do you think was driving that golf cart?
I would say the way it was driving, Muscle Man.
Yep, exactly. It had to be.
I just hear him go, "Whoa!"
It had to be. Now, I think I copied some notes over from that wiki page for trivia and goofs and whatnot. So I think we actually hit most of them all. The "we're not going to take it," "Footloose." I mean, those are kind of obvious,
Mm-hmm.
The part where Rigby says "chewing your gumballs." I knew that. But it says there's goofs. In the song "Footloose," chorus says, "and now I got to cut loose." But when Pop sings it, he says, "like I cut loose." Okay. Near the end, so near the end, Benson is seeing bandage. And I remember that. Like, he's all beaten up and everything. Because, like, the scene quick cuts at the end, and we hear ambulances and everything, and he's all bandaged up. But now when he's in the cart, it says they're all gone. So that kind of tells me something about production. Maybe, like they needed to add that in or something. Wouldn't it be hilarious if they all just spun out in the golf cart? I think they added that in after the fact,
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. High Five Ghost isn't seen with the other park workers when they drive off at the end, so maybe he just flew home, I guess.
I was going to say, he's a ghost. He doesn't need a ride.
How does he even ride in the cart anyway? You know what I mean? Because he's not sitting on the seat. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's floating in the cart. Yeah.
He's hovering at the same speed as the golf cart.
Okay, and here's another one. In the tape, a guy in the red jacket says, "What aren't you going to take?" But when the tape's being played when they go to karaoke night, that dude doesn't show up in the tape. So,
they cut it. They wanted to get right to the good stuff.
Yeah, so maybe they didn't even have to worry about stealing the tape. Maybe. Well, no, he did call Benson a loser. So,
well, you notice it cut off right at that point, so it could have been cut.
Yeah. Well, there we go. So, I mean, my thoughts on this are, it wasn't the best episode of season 2, but like the formula, you can kind of see that it's a season finale. I mean, it has, the ingredients of a season finale. It has that whole montage effect, which actually might put it on a level to compete with that Hitman episode of Adventure Time, because that Adventure Time is very just Ice King, which is great. Don't get me wrong. There's some hilarious moments, but the best episodes of regular show are the ones that include the entire, collage of all the characters and their work. It's their Avengers Assemble type episodes,
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
This one does it pretty decently. It's got Pop singing Footloose, so it's got like these little epic moments. The story isn't anything like, to write home about. There's not a whole lot of weight in this episode as far as like, later on the season finales, like they really start shaping the overall story arc. This one, I guess that's kind of typical of those series. Though, the first couple seasons, maybe the finales aren't like, all that earth shattering or whatever. But, I thought for what it was, it definitely had the makings of a season finale, had kind of, all the things that you would want to include in a season finale to send off people to wait until the next season, the big bang, the big fireworks show at the end and whatnot. So, I guess my rating is I would, my ratings, I'm seeing my rating scales are flawed now because I give things different ratings for different reasons. Like, one episode, the graveyard episode, I don't know if I've put it out yet, but like I gave it a rating, a higher rating just because of the atmosphere. That it puts off a very fall-like atmosphere. It really reminded me a lot of like the I Monster comic from Ninja Turtles. Just
cool.
The backgrounds and everything, But this one, it doesn't really have the atmosphere. And the story isn't really all that solid, but just probably for the camaraderie, I would probably give this one somewhere between a 7.5 and an 8.
That's a great point. Yes. I agree with you. I thought the story is kind of like, it's funny, but there's really no shocking resolution or anything like that. It just kind of ends. But the camaraderie, the cast of characters coming together, fighting over this thing, I really like the dynamic group. And I think it kind of pays off because this is the finale. We've learned a little bit more about each one of these characters. And it does make you appreciate when they're all assembled together. And I forgot to mention this during the montage, or excuse me, the music video. My favorite scene is where, of course, it shows them kind of being transported into space or whatever that background is at the beginning. And there's a zoom in on Pop singing the line, it will if you don't even try, but he can't hit the note right.
Yeah.
And it's like he's spinning, and we see Karaoke flying in space. We see Mordecai in space, and we see Carl like floating around as it closes in on a spinning Pops singing off key. It just made me laugh.
Well, see,
it still makes me laugh.
Here's the thing. It's like, if somebody was to just like try to just look at that initially, they would probably be like, that's horrible singing, which, it's not. I mean, listen, you don't knock it until you try it like that.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to do with that character. But it just like when you see all these parts get put together, it's like, this is really, and it's becoming more apparent as AI is coming out. It's becoming more apparent that like these human imperfections, being able to take those, stack them together and celebrate them and make something that just makes people smile. That's real art right there. It's like people will look at it and say it's imperfect. Pops is singing out of key, but this is just a goofy little, this looks like a little 80s music video. This is, there's no talent. It's like, no, look, they're doing that on purpose.
Exactly. That's the execution part of it.
They're taking all these happy accidents and they're putting them together. And like, see, that's something like on this show, I have very, very rarely, I love AI. I love keeping up with AI because of Kevin Pereira and all that. But like, I very rarely use AI for anything. I don't use AI to write. I don't use AI. Never mind. The only appearance of AI on this show so far has, and I just heard him I put it out the other day, so I never met the chick, but I guess that person that Simon was calling his girlfriend, maybe that's the one he said he was talking to in his head the other day. I don't know. But,
could be, yeah.
But she sounded an awful lot like a robot to me. I don't know.
Maybe you're right, but, let's give her the benefit of the doubt, much like Ben Tramer,
Maybe she just had to go off to college. I don't know.
Yeah, poor guy. But, maybe Simon's going through a hard time. Maybe that's why the place is a wreck. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. So, but like, that's the thing. Like, with the advent of AI, people are putting out all kinds of content, but it's like, And there's some clever stuff that's being put out. I'm not bashing it at all, but it's like stuff like this is becoming more and more precious because it kind of takes human error to make something like this. You can make quirky things from AI with it screwing up and whatnot, but like this really feels human. I mean, just
Absolutely.
that whole video just feels very, very human. And I that's irreplaceable in my eyes.
And I bet you, is it Sam Marin? Is that the voice actor you were talking about for
Yeah.
Pops? I bet you if he tried to do this key for key again, he couldn't do it. So it's in these takes right here that you see the happy accidents, as you said. And this was
Yeah.
a funny take. And I hope he did it like in one take because it is hilarious.
I'll be honest with you. Some of these things do sound like they do them in one take. But,
Right. Which somehow
which is
seems to
great.
work better,
Yeah.
and not to like derail us too much, but in the Retro Junkies show, I think the most fun, and of course, with Turtles too, with you and I, the most fun I ever have doing skits is not necessarily the written stuff. It's the fun stuff, making it up on the fly. I don't know why. It sounds more genuine. It sounds more authentic, and hopefully funnier. But it doesn't always work out that way. But like you said, in this episode, I think it's apropos.
Yeah. I mean, so what rating would you give this?
Oh man. So were you going from a 10-point scale?
Sure. You can do a 20-point scale for all I care.
I'll say at least a 7 or an 8. Like it's not my favorite of the season, but this one was a lot of fun. And it did still make me laugh out loud. I think the Footloose stuff really turned the episode up a notch. Yeah, I really like you said, the camaraderie of the characters here coming together, and of course Pop's moment in the sun. It's been great.
Yeah. So I guess in summary, this episode, just kind of thinking on it for the past few minutes, what it does good what it can do at this point. We don't have any high stakes at this point. We don't have, any big villains. We don't have any love interests, really. I mean, we ain't seen Margaret in a while. What we can do at this point in this show is, hey, we can send off this season with a fairly shallow episode, but it's a fireworks show. We send it off with all these goofy moments that just says, hey guys, we're not even close to being done. Come back next season. We're just almost like a fan service episode. We got this little, I've always wanted to put a music video on this episode. Let's do it, guys. I think they just kind of threw in the ideas that, we want to do something special, but it was
definitely a feel good episode. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's no, yeah, it's one of them episodes when you binge it too, or when you watch the seasons, it's like, all right, when I watch this, there's no feeling of dread. Like not really dread, but when I hit that last episode of the last season, dude, I see it and I'm just like, oh, it's like, and it's not even, there's a lot of things that go into that. I mean, I know you haven't seen it, but like when you see it, it's like, you're kind of spent. Like, it's like, this was the best ending I could think of for this show. But at the same time, it's like, I hate that this is over. I hate that just all kinds of things. But, this end of the season, it's like, all right, we're definitely going to be back next season. That's always a good episode to watch, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Gives you hope for the future, man. It sends you off with a smile, and you know that there's going to be plenty of stuff to come. So one thing I wanted to ask you is, because I haven't started the third season yet, if you could kind of compare as a whole, do you prefer the third over the second season, or are they both about the same? Where are you at with it?
Let me look at what happens in the third season. Let me look at the episodes. I got Max pulled up here. I'll just switch it over to season 3. Now, I will say this. As far as season 2, I probably preferred that over season 1, although there are some very standout moments in season 1. Season 3, let's see, we got Stick Hockey. That's a pretty good episode. Dude, you need to come back for Stick Hockey.
Oh, yeah. You got me sold already.
Bet to be Blonde. I mean, that's a meme. There's a lot of memes made out of that episode. Skip Strikes, that's a bowling episode. The first Halloween episode, I've already covered that one, I think. Well, this show's covered it. I didn't cover it. But Oh, and it's a two-parter too. The first Halloween episode is a two-parter. So there's two like Terror Tales from the Park for that first time they do it in season 3. So that's a pretty, I mean, that in itself is great. That's a great episodes. There's a lot of awesome things that happen there. Camping can be cool. That's the one that's got a wicked deer guy on it. I don't care all that much for it, but it's all right. Slam Dunk, that's the one where Carl Weathers voices a Wilt Chamberlain basketball deity.
Oh, cool.
Cool Bikes. Yeah, dude. Season 3's got some really good stuff. Wrap It Up. That's a good one. Oh my gosh, yes. There's some, I wouldn't even say skip a Weekend at Benson's. Oh my gosh. That's going to be a good time. It's a Weekend at Bernie's episode.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. There's all kinds of, I would actually, looking at this, I'm going to say season 3. Oh, excellent. Excellence in season 3. Excellent is the only episode of regular show to win. I don't know if it wouldn't be a Grammy. Grammy's music, but whatever award that is that they win for television shows.
Wow.
Excellent won an award. And it's a fantastic episode, dude. Man, Video Game Wizard, that is a wizard. Yeah. Oh, it really is too. Like you can kind of Trash Boat, fantastic episode. Some people hate it. I love it. Yes. Oh man. We get CJ in season 3. Busted Car. Yeah, dude. Season 3 is, I like season 2. Season 3 is going to blow it out of the water, I believe.
Oh man.
I mean, as
awesome.
far as the
I'm
quality of
excited.
episodes. Yeah. Yeah. You really start getting character development there and a lot of these cool, deeper ideas. Oh gosh. Prankless. Dude, we get Kurtwood Smith in this show. He's a rival
I should
park
know who
owner.
that is.
Red Foreman.
Oh, wow. No way.
Dude,
It's instantly a 10 then.
Yeah. He's Gene, the rival park owner or runner or whatever. Oh, my gosh, dude. Yes. Let me look at the season. Death Bear. That's a great episode. Oh, man. Yeah. So, yes. Season 3, there's maybe 2 in here that I would, 2, 3 maybe that I would, like if I was just going to watch the episodes that I really love, I would skip 2, 3 of these. But they're all worth watching. Sugar Rush, that's one I would skip. But once again, I say that about episodes and it's like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, I can tell you Fuzzy Dice, that's a great episode. Death Bears, yeah. Man, that stinks. That's going to probably be another daggum year before I get to them. But that's 40 episodes in season 3. I can't believe that.
Wow. That's plenty of fodder for a long time, man.
Yeah. Speaking of which, people, if you're still listening at this point, it will probably be, I think I mentioned this earlier, but in between this season and season 3 to be able to catch up on editing and everything, it's probably going to be about a month. I'll still be recording and whatnot, but like there's ideas that I need to get down and things that I need to get taken care of as far as this show and just music, just stuff I need to catch up on. I mean, I'll still be recording, but I'm not going to put anything out just to kind of build up that buffer again, that the whole 15, 16 show buffer that I have. Hopefully nothing crashes. Please, Lord, don't let it crash. I've got them double backed up and everything, and I check it every once in a while because I'm like, I don't know if...
Good thinking, man.
If this laptop goes down, sometimes if I have it saved on the hard drive, if I don't have like the tracks already pre-bounced, it won't recognize them on my console computer or my.
I have that problem sometimes with Audacity. Yep.
I hate that.
Yes, it's awful.
So until next time, everybody. So until next time. It won't be long. Maybe that's 2 episodes, pretty much. It'll be about a month, something like that. I don't know how school will go, but I've got a backlog. Here's on air. Something goes wrong where, I'm in a car wreck or something and I break my hand and I can't edit or, I get put in the hospital or whatever. Rob will get my hard drive and he'll put out the episodes.
That's right. In your honor.
All right. Good. Y'all got it here. I got 2 of them, Rob. I got an orange one and a black one and my laptop. I'll give you the code to it.
Sweet. It's good to
All
know.
right. So until next time, guys, I appreciate you listening. Any type of shares and whatnot would be very appreciated. It would be cool to have 30 listeners by the time I go into season 3. That's very wishful thinking, but, until next time, here's to you. And what do you say, Rob?
Here's to hoping you enjoy your friends, your family, and a mega slice of classic cheese pizza.
Yeah, at the karaoke bar.
Oh, with gravy on top.
Yes, enjoy your gravy pouches, people. It probably will be about Thanksgiving before this comes out with the rate that I'm. Sayonara.